In this video, I'm going to be going through my worst to first of all of the Darth Vader figures and card backs from the vintage collection. Collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And as I mentioned in the intro, I'm going to be going through all of the Star Wars the Vintage Collection Darth Vader figures and ranking them from worst to first. And as with previous worst to first videos, I do tend to rank the figures based on the actual figure and the card back, kind of like the whole product all in one. And basically I go through the worst to my favourite. And remember, this is my personal opinion, but I would love to know your opinions in the comment section below. I'd love to know the ordering that you would give. There are 7 to go through in this video, and I'm just going to take a moment to talk about the first one, which I'm not going to be ranking, and that's this Darth Vader here. So a little bit of history about this particular figure. It is VC13 in the line, and originally when this figure was released, it had Anakin Skywalker on the name pill, and then they did a correction because obviously at this point in the film he is Darth Vader, although Obi-Wan at this point still calls him Anakin, but officially he is Darth Vader. He has been renamed Darth Vader, but I didn't want to include this one in the ranking because he's not in the suit, so it's kind of like difficult to rank him against other actual Darth Vaders that are in the suit. But I did just want to mention him very quickly. Of course, the Anakin Skywalker version of this is the slightly rarer one, and if you have a unpunched Anakin Skywalker, then you're a very lucky person. So with all that being said, let's get on to the actual Darth Vaders that are in the suit. And if you do happen to enjoy the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. And in 6th place, I am actually ranking the first ever Vader that we got in the vintage collection. This is VC08. And this one is on the Empire Strikes Back card, but I'm sure if you are a fan of the vintage collection, you will know that he also came out on multiple different card backs. For example, we have the Return of the Jedi card back here. So it's exactly the same figure, just on a Return of the Jedi card back. He was also released on the Revenge of the Jedi card back. You could also get him on a foil variant of this card back as well. And then they also reissued him in, 2018 when the vintage collection came back. I think he was part of the first reissue wave. So we've had plenty of VC08. Now he is in last place for me, and there's a couple of reasons why. The first thing is that the figure is out of date now. He does have the removable helmet, and we now have a better version of, that feature. And also this card back here is the original Kenner card back, but this image really should have been on a Star Wars chase. I realised that the figure has the removable helmet, and that didn't happen in the original Star Wars, and that's probably why they did that. But still, that image for me should be on the debut card, which was the Star Wars logo, which we do have a figure like that later on in the video. But there's the back of the card, VC08. As I say, the figure's just slightly out of date these days, and as I said, the image isn't correct to the movie. In 5th place, I've gone with the Rogue One Darth Vader, and it's at this point in the video that I've got to say that, none of these are actually like bad figures or bad card backs. It's actually quite difficult to put them in any sort of ranking, especially when you're trying to sort of decide based on the card back and the figure. But this one, I do love the card back. It's a really great image of him there, and of course that part of Rogue One was awesome. I think any Star Wars fan loved seeing Vader going mad down that hallway. But the figure for me, I never really enjoyed this figure. I never really liked him, and it was all to do with the fact that he has the, what are those, tabards or the plastic skirt. It's made of plastic. They didn't use the soft goods. He does have a soft goods cape. It's an okay Vader, but as I say, there has been much better Vaders that have come out since, which we will obviously see further on in this video. But there's no getting away from it. This isn't a really nice card back. But obviously I'm not judging it just on the card back. If I was, then this one would probably be a bit higher. Really good image there. But as I say, the figure just lets it down ever so slightly. And he is VC178 in the line, and yeah, on that Rogue One card. In 4th place, I've gone for VC93 Darth Vader from A New Hope. So basically this is your A New Hope version of Darth Vader on the proper Star Wars chase there with the image. So this is what we wanted, and this is what we have, and it is a great card back. It's an absolute classic. It has the Star Wars chase. It has the back of the card, which looks really good. I wish they looked a bit more like that these days. VC93, lovely unpunched version of that one here. And at the end of the day, I think the figure again is just ever so slightly out of date these days. We've got better Vaders now. It's very difficult to put this one so low down, but you will see when I talk about the other figures, and perhaps maybe this one should have been in third place when you see which one I have actually picked into third place, but I'll talk about that in a second. But Darth Vader VC93 on the Star Wars Chase from A New Hope is in fourth place. In third place, I've gone for VC115 Darth Vader on the alternate image card back. And the reason I said that, you know, this one could have easily been swapped with the previous Vader in terms of my rankings is because this one really gets my vote because of the card back. And, you know, I really should be sticking by my own rules and, you know, counting the figure as being a big part of the ranking. It is a very scene-specific Vader. It is the basically Emperor's Wrath Vader. He has that like transparent mask where he's getting electrified. He's got all that electric effects around him and everything. So that figure is very scene-specific. You can't really use it for much else apart from that. But look at the card back, man. That is like, this is one of my favourite card backs. And that is why it gets ahead of the other Vaders because, as I say, I just look at it. Look at him pointing there in the Death Star. Just such a cool card back. Let's have a look at the back. VC115. So he was the final figure when the vintage collection ended back in what, 2011-12. What a way to end it. Look at that. What a brilliant card back. And as I say, you know, I am sort of going against my own rules, but I couldn't have him any lower down. It's just one of my favourite card backs. Alright then, so in second place I've gone with the Darth Vader The Dark Times from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And that's going to give away what's in first place as well. But basically, they're essentially the same figure. We're going to talk about the other one in a second. And on any given day, I could have put this one in first place versus the other one. The reason for that is because I believe that this is actually the superior figure of the two. This, to me, is the definitive Darth Vader. It's an amazing figure. It's got everything that you need. It's got changeable hands. It's got the unlit lightsaber. It's got a lit lightsaber, of course. And it's just an awesome figure. Probably figure of the year last year. I think I may have even voted it as being figure of the year in one of my own polls. He is VC241. Now, what lets this one down, of course, is the card back and the fact that it's from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. That card back is photoshopped. He still looks great on there, don't get me wrong, but when I add everything up in my head and I think, right, figure and card back, which one do I prefer? I've had to go with the one that I'm going to show you next, but nothing to be taken away from this one. This is a fantastic figure. Absolutely brilliant. And there you go then. In first place, I have gone for the brand new Return of the Jedi Darth Vader Death Star 2, and there's a few reasons and I will talk about those right now. So essentially the body of the figure is pretty much exactly the same as the Dark Times Vader, so it's got everything going for it. It's got all the range of articulation. I think what lets this one down is similar to VC08 in that the helmet for me still doesn't sit absolutely flush, and I just think with a figure this small it's pretty much impossible for them to do that. The plastic's always going to be out of shape and what have you, and you're always going to get that sort of split where the two pieces join, and for that reason it lets it down ever so slightly versus the Dark Times Vader, which has got an actual proper helmet. But nothing to be taken away from this figure. The head sculpt's fantastic, although it doesn't look 100% like Sebastian Shaw. You've got the interchangeable hand where he has his hand chopped off, very much like the Emperor's Wrath Vader that we saw earlier. So loads of accessories, really cool figure, but the reason this is number one for me is that card back. That is a fantastic image. It is from one of the most iconic scenes in Star Wars. It is absolutely awesome. It's instantly one of my favourite card backs in the whole line, let alone Vader's. So that really sort of tipped over the edge for me. But I think if we're just talking about the figure itself, I think I actually prefer the Dark Times Vader, even though this one does a bit more because you have the removable helmet and you have the head sculpt underneath. I think the split in the helmet still sort of irks me slightly, and I just prefer the other Vader. But, you know, as I said, the body and everything is pretty much the same. The cuffs are ever so slightly different on this one compared to the other Vader, but he is VC280. So as I said, on any given day I could have chosen the Dark Times Vader being my number one if I was thinking about the figure only, but as a whole package this one is very close to the Dark Times Vader, and it's got this amazing card back. One of the best card backs in the whole of the vintage collection in my opinion. But as I said, I would like to know your opinion. I want to know how you would rank these, so let me know that in the comment section below. And that is it for this video. I've ranked all of the Darth Vaders that we have available in the vintage collection. I did not include anything from the VOTC or anything like that. It's just purely numbered vintage collection figures. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching this video. As I said, let me know your rankings in the comment section below. And I want to thank all of my Patreon supporters and channel members as always. Thank you so much for the extra support. Thank you all for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.